Really?
Really?
That was a nice hearty crunch, though.
Wow.
It's like having Kid Smooth in the podcast all over again.
Boy, Lynn kicking somebody's ass today.
All right, guys, how you doing today? Anyway, guys, hey, welcome to episode 43 of Multiverse Podcast. I'm going to swallow.
See, it was a really good idea before you realized the repercussions of what you did.
I know, right? Welcome to the episode 43 of the Multiverse Show. You gotta use the saying that. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. Thank you guys for showing up. Remember to go follow the Multiverse Show on Twitter. Just hand us Twitter tag Multiverse Show. That's it. Ready to go. But first, we gotta welcome back co-host The Rock, foundation of Multiverse Fame Entertainment.
You know, sometimes I feel like the redheaded stepchild of this show now, not The Rock anymore, but I digress. What's going on, people? Famous Family here from TICGN.com, and welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Show. And it is kind of weird not saying Multiverse Podcast, but I will get used to it eventually. Yes, I am back, and I'm happy to be back. I should be back more consistently if I can. Do not forget, we do have a Nintendo Switch giveaway up and running on our website. It should be in the description down below. If not, I will be dropping that link in the chat throughout the show. Welcome to episode 43, and let's get going. Yeah, buddy.
All right, my other co-host for the evening, Nick.
What's going on, everybody? The Truth from Twitter at Undead3XVI. You can follow me there or on Twitch and YouTube.
All right. And we also got Soundmaster General, but not for much longer, over on April 25th, James Wilson.
I've got major problems with you making fun of redheaded people, Fame.
Huh?
Would you care to look at the picture on screen?
Redheaded people.
You said I don't want to feel like the redheaded stepchild.
Oh, huh? I didn't notice that. My bad, player.
Oh man, I hope South Park never comes out.
Doesn't have a soul, doesn't matter anyway.
Oh, I hope South Park never comes out.
You know, Jesus coming back. He can get you, fam. Don't disrespect South Park like.
Yeah. Hello, at James_S Wilson. I love music. I love Radiohead. I love films. And games.
Right, and our newest co-host back, Mike PDA the Truth.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mike. You can check me out on the Inner Circle at www.ticgn.com, also on Twitter and Xbox. And it's great to be back on the show again, so let's get it popping.
All right, let's get moving, guys. All right, we got a lot of good topics we want to talk about tonight. But first things first, we got to talk about this Metacritic for just a minute. First off, I want to touch on Horizon Zero Dawn. I want to say congratulations to Guerrilla Games on making a good game. First of
supposedly.
All, we'll get that. That is up.
Well,
for
none of us have
taste.
played it.
I
So
will not comment. You have played it, but I mean, that's a personal taste thing. I'm not going to comment on that.
We can talk about that now, actually.
Yeah, we can. So, at least I could always talk about it. I'm not under an NDA or anything.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean. First, I want to say that I don't think anybody was expecting Guerrilla to pull this off, like because Guerrilla has a very mixed. What's the term I'm looking for? I don't want to say track record, but repertoire when it comes to game development. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. No real consensus.
Sometimes Killzone Shadowfall.
Yeah. But I mean, it was. I think everyone was genuinely surprised they actually pulled off a nice open world game. So I want to give congratulations to Guerrilla Games. Good job. And I believe on Metacritic, I believe it's sitting at 88 now. Is that right, Nick? You're the one who's losing money on this.
Yeah, it's sitting at 88 right now. I need to go up one more point.
What did you bet?
Nick,
what did you bet with Kofi?
I didn't bet. I don't think there's anything sitting on there except my dignity. So,
ooh, that's all you got.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah. So James, are you actually gonna be picking up Horizon now?
No, because I don't have any money because I spent it all on Resident Evil. I will maybe pick it up when it goes really down in price and a general consensus has come out of when the public can buy it, because it's not out yet. We just had loads of reviews from the companies. We didn't get a review code because I don't think anybody asked for one.
Yeah.
Which is probably bad of us.
No, I'm almost certain that Nick gave it a good old try. Nick is really good on at least trying, so I'm pretty sure they was like, nah, it's too many Xbox over there.
Well, I played it before I worked for these guys. Before I worked here, when I tested it, and of course, what I played and what came out, I'm sure are two entirely different things. I wasn't going to pick it up because there were things in the story that made me really angry because they were told so badly, and there was a plot device that was so stupid it made me sad. But I don't know if that's gone so far because I haven't played it, and there's no story up so far. I'm in an interesting situation because I don't want to play what I played, but I'm sure what I played isn't what the game is. If any of you understood that, I commend you.
I don't know. That's not a position I've been in either. I mean, every time I played, well, I mean, I know Fame and I, we used to do betas. We get invited to like, secret betas and stuff, but almost all that we played, we kind of enjoyed. I mean, like, I think when we did the Division, that was when I was like, yeah, I had fun playing that, and I actually picked up the game based on that.
Well, a closed beta and a non-disclosure agreement pre-alpha are two entirely different things.
Yeah, I mean, we were in closed, no talkie about it beta back then. That was a while ago though.
I should give a time frame of when I actually played it. I played it a month after it was announced at E3.
Oh wow, that was a while ago.
Yeah, so you can see why I'm a bit hesitant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know about that. But I mean, a lot of people look to be really excited about the game. I personally, if I ever get a chance to go get another PlayStation 4, I'll probably give it a go.
The one thing that I don't think anybody can fault is the world building they've done and the aesthetic of it and the design of everything is really quite stunning.
It is. It looks pretty good.
Yeah,
something I was talking to someone who got a review copy, and now that the NDAs are over, we had like very long conversation about the game, and he said it's open world game, so yeah, some of the quests and everything feel kind of repetitive, but it's an open world game. But they said what really snags you in is the lore. There's a whole lore system developed within the game, as well as the complexity of the beasts and everything else you gotta fight, and all the skills and the unlock tree and everything else. They said made what could have possibly been a miss as an open world game, and actually made it the subsystems that all open world games have keep it interesting and want you to keep playing more because the story and the mechanics are that good.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But one thing I do want to talk about this just kind of bringing it back. This morning I was greeted by something very interesting, and apparently you guys have heard about this before I did. I actually, I think a couple hours before, right around about midnight when I was going to bed. I didn't know the reviews were dropping at 3. I didn't know. I went out and said, you know what, I think it's going to be 89 on Metacritic. So I woke up, saw the reviews, put out the Metacritic score. I was right at the time. It has dropped a little bit since then. But, I mean, that's average, I guess. That normally happens. More reviews, scores change a little bit. But I put it out there. And it was funny because actually even Metacritic responded to me directly on Twitter. It was odd. So they'd never done that before. But it was funny because I put that out there and they even, I said, oh, here's the score. It looks pretty good. And someone said, don't use Metacritic. I was like, what are you talking about? Don't use Metacritic. I mean, everybody uses Metacritic. I was like, what is this? So they brought up this thing called OpenCritic. I took a look at it, but you guys heard about OpenCritic before, right? Tell me what you guys know about it.
I've never heard of it.
Today was the first that I heard of it, too.
Yeah. I believe, Nick, you were the one who said you had experience with it.
Yeah, I had experience with it because my biggest thing is when I'm looking through Metacritic, my biggest thing is I want to see what certain review sites, I'm very specific on what review sites I follow because very often I'll go to independent sources like people I know on YouTube and everything for reviews on games. But when people don't touch those games, I have to go to other sources. And so to filter through sites and to see what the actual review score is from multiple sites that I trust, I use OpenCritic because then you can pick and choose who you have and who you don't. So you can exclude reviews from places like Time Magazine and Forbes and like non-gaming focused companies and everything else. And
I just want to very quickly say there are a bunch of non-gaming focused sites that do gaming really well. Like in the UK, we have The Guardian, who is not a gaming website, but they do really, really good game content.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, really fast, Anchor, look at the chat, please, sir.
I saw. I'm working on it. Jeez, man, give me a break.
Hey, man, that's important.
I know it's important. Why don't you bring it up since we're here before we forget about it?
Huh?
Why don't you bring it up before we forget about it? Jeez.
What?
I think somebody was talking about something.
What? I'm talking about the link themes dropping like usual.
Oh, I've already talked about that. What are you talking about?
Did? Oh, man, I'm tripping. I don't know.
What's going on?
Nothing that matters.
Me and Anchor, we have a rare moment of not being on the same page. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens, and it's happening right now.
Oh, I was looking at the YouTube chat. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the chat, like this chat that we're in right now.
Yeah,
no, not the YouTube chat. This chat.
Yeah, so like what I was saying was I was just really interested in OpenCritic. It's a very interesting site. I was just really, I was very pleased with it because one of the things that Metacritic does, and I understand why they do this, is they weight scores. So if you have IGN or I don't know, Gaming Wagos,
Video Gamer.
I was just picking something random, like some random website. Like they're going to be weighted differently when it comes to the actual average. It's not a straight average of scores. It's like if IGN gives it a 9 and Gaming Wagos gives it a 6, like the 6 is going to be weighed less than the 9 because IGN has a bigger base and they're a little stronger. So it's interesting. They do that to prevent random scores from having that big of an influence. But I really enjoy what Nick was bringing up about OpenCritic is that they actually open it up where you can actually make your own average score and see everybody, or you can just look at the larger one is, and it shows you with no weights, no anything, who gave what, and it was really interesting. I actually really enjoyed the website. So definitely, I want to encourage everybody to go check that out. It's definitely interesting. But I just wanted to bring that up. I've really enjoyed looking at that website. Let's actually look at some of my favorite games that you can actually customize. I was just really interested about.
Well, while we're still talking about the scores really quick, I just want to say the 88-89 for Horizon Zero Dawn is kind of what I expected because I didn't expect to hit that 90 range because I've been saying that Zelda Breath of the Wild will outscore Horizon Zero Dawn on Metacritic, and I mean, it not hitting 90 almost assures that The Legend of Zelda would outscore. But it is what I expected. I expected the game to be actually really freaking awesome. So I can't wait. It's literally going to be it will be a day one for me physically. I'm not doing the whole digital game for non-multiplayer game, but yeah, it will be definitely a day one, and I'm excited to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. And for the people who hate on it and trying to put out spoilers, even if they're fake spoilers, calm down, dude. It's not that serious. It's really going to be a good game. So just stop being crazy for one moment.
I have a question about this whole Metacritic thing because I was talking about this with a couple people on Twitter earlier today. So in my timeline, somebody posted up, Sony has the best first-party studios, which is cool. That's their opinion. So I quoted that Sony has the best first-party studios, but I put a picture of the Nintendo logo, meaning that my feeling is no, Sony doesn't. Nintendo does. Now, everybody has different opinions on games. Everybody has different tastes. It's subjective. I understand that. I get that. But if you were to make a comparison between the quality of Nintendo's games and the quality of Sony's games, like apples to apples. And I don't want it to be a discussion Nintendo versus Sony, but what would be, I was trying to say, Nintendo games overall rate higher on Metacritic than Sony Interactive Entertainment. If you look at all Nintendo's games, they average out to a 75, and Sony's average out to a 70. And somebody said, no, you can't do that because reviews are all subjective. And I said, well, I get that reviews are subjective. That's a given. But what other tool are you going to use then at that point?
That's a good point, though. That really is a good point. In this, if you want to have an objective argument about something, how do you use it? Like, how do you try to make an objective argument out of subjective opinions?
Right. That was my whole point. And people are saying, well, you can't use Metacritic. You can't use Metacritic. That doesn't count. But how else are you going to get an apples to apples comparison?
I'll break it down for you. Metacritic is like Digital Foundry. If Metacritic or Digital Foundry posts something that's in your console preferences favor, then they're a reliable source of information. If it posts something against your console preferences favor, then it's a garbage site and it doesn't have any valid sources. That's how this works.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I can't personally, I look at Metacritic kind of like VG charts. It's nice. It shows you general projection stuff. It's not an indicator of exact figures and exact everything, but it's interesting. You're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like it points you in the general direction. And like we said before, like the inclusion of places like Time Magazine or USA Today, like why? Why are these things in a gaming forum? Like, I don't know. I guess I'm elitist that way. And like I said, I personally would not include them, but that's just me.
Well, all right.
All right. Moving on a little bit. Moving on to a different topic. So let's talk about Logan for a bit. So more context why we're bringing this up. Logan is actually coming out 2 weeks from now, or
March 1st.
I know it's March. I thought it was March 3rd. Well, yeah, you elitist. Elitist.
I'm an elitist because I'm in a different time zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Call me jealous. But one of the things that caught my attention was that the reviews for Logan came out last week. That means Fox is that confident in the Logan movie that they are dropping reviews 2 to 3 weeks early. They're that confident in this game.
Which is not uncommon for companies to do this, we should say.
Oh, yeah, it's not uncommon. I mean, Marvel movies generally do this. They normally do it so they can get those nice little buzzword trailers where it's like, oh, Variety said stunning movie. And put that little in the little trailer. Like, it's the accolades trailer, really. And they go out there and they do that. But the thing that caught my attention, the reason we're bringing this up, was I saw from numerous, some reviewers, some other people who just saw the movie, claiming this is better than The Dark Knight, which in many respects is blasphemy. Sheer blasphemy to even consider another film on the same level as The Dark Knight. Even Avengers, a movie that is another holy grail of comic moviedom, is not compared to The Dark Knight. It is a different altogether process. They do not even compare it, but they have the balls to say Logan is as good, if not better, than The Dark Knight.
Just for some perspective, Logan right now on Rotten Tomatoes is a 95% fresh, and on IMDb it's at a 9.6 out of 10, just for some perspective, as far as the reviews so far.
Yeah, but this is before the audience score gets things.
Right,
This is before
exactly.
all the reviews get added. It's a very unreliable source to use at this early stage. Let's not forget that there was a brief moment where Deadpool last year had a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's true.
Good
It's
point.
I have a hard time believing anything associated with X-Men could hit a stride that high. That's
Deadpool.
just okay. That's an
how
exception.
about the first X-Men and X-Men 2 and X-Men Days of Future Class and X-Men First Class?
Just no.
To my
None of
money,
them.
there have been 4 bad X-Men movies and 5 good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I quite like Last Stand, so there we go.
You know what? I like The Last Stand too. People say I'm crazy when I say it, but I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
X2 I enjoyed.
Well, X2 is
Who are
fantastic.
you people?
Yeah, X2 was awesome.
X2 was good. I'll give X2, but I can't say X3. I can't do that. I can't in good conscience say Last Stand was a good movie.
Hey, I'm one of the few people on the planet that actually like the first Wolverine movie.
Now,
Hey,
that is unforgivable.
I'm actually with Fame on this one. Actually,
Are you serious?
I like it.
it's
It's just because it had Gambit in it. That's the sole reason why.
Oh yeah, it is.
Listen, don't sleep on Gambit. I'm telling you, if they could ever get the movie off the ground, it's going to shock some people.
Taylor Kitsch, man. Anyway, let's get back to Logan.
Yeah, let's get back to topics here. Do you the claim of the Dark Knight being on the same level as Logan, or really the other way around, where Logan can be even considered in the same level? Do you guys think that's even true?
On the point, I believe any movie is brilliant until you see it. That's what I believe. Because if your favorite movie might be somebody's least favorite movie, and vice versa. Art is subjective like that. The comparison used to the Avengers earlier, the Avengers and the Dark Knight are 2 wildly different films. The only thing they really have in common is that they are in English and are about superheroes. But that's about it. Logan seems to be a much more personal story than some superhero films, including all the Batman films. So maybe that's why. Maybe this works as a film and then as a superhero story, and that might be why it's getting such good reviews right now.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because from all the promotion we've seen, everyone's been saying, even if you took out the Wolverine part, it still looks really good. And I know that's a weird thing to say because it's a Wolverine movie, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, it's. Let's also talk about the other thing in the other elephant in the room. Actually, I saw this on NeoGAF a lot, which I normally stay away from NeoGAF entirely. But one of the things I saw that was pretty funny was the accusation that this movie stole from Last of Us.
Oh, come on.
You have to admit, when you see it, you immediately think of The Last of Us. I mean, almost immediately, if you're a gamer.
I wasn't playing The Last of Us and going, wow, this feels like The Road.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying you have to acknowledge the resemblance.
Yeah, but it's got as much resemblance as it does to Bad Santa. It's a guy who's old looking after somebody young.
I mean, just look at the facial hair. I mean, it's almost.
Oh yeah, because no leading character,
So
no
Naughty
leading
Dog owns beards
aged
now?
character has ever
I'm
had a
not saying
beard.
that. Listen, put them side by side. I'm not saying no one else is going to see. You're taking my words and you're flipping it to fit your narrative.
Turn in your beards. Naughty Dog owns them. Copyright.
No, you're flipping it to fit your narrative. What I'm saying is you have to say that the comparison is fair.
Actually, what I'm more interested.
Don't flip what
It's
I'm
not-
saying
it's
to
not
say,
an-
oh,
it's
no
not-
one else does beards or no one else watches Little Girl. I'm not saying that. You guys are saying that to fit your narrative. What I'm saying is when you put them side by side, compare the 2 characters, how they look, they're comparable.
It is not an unfair comparison, but I don't think
they're
it's
white.
accurate.
Oh God.
All right, that's a can of worms we're not even going near right now.
No, but I get to a degree what you guys are saying, though, is like anything that I remember reading a review on the trailer for when Mad Max was supposed to be coming out. And they're like, it feels like a very ripped off Last of Us style world. I'm sitting there going, wait, what? Does no one remember the movies from the this 80s? 80s? Yeah.
Yes.
I think 80s. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, but it's very comparable. Like when I watched the trailer with the music and everything, yeah, it felt very Last of Us to me. But I'm not going to say it's like ripped off or anything like that because the story's 100% going to be different and yada, yada. But I agree with Fame. It's weird.
Did anybody see the 50-second video that Fox just uploaded to their YouTube channel called Laura.mov?
No,
what is it?
No.
It is I posted it on the website. It's a little like I want to say research footage of Laura Kinney X-23 being experimented on, and you see her with her claws like cutting herself and like being wheeled around in loads of pain.
Oh, I need to see this.
Wow.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yes,
I'll put it
yes,
in the chat
please.
on the YouTube thing because it's
Thank
it's really not very long. I'm surprised it didn't go viral. If this was the trailer for the film, like a secret trailer, I think it's a work of marketing genius.
Yeah. I'll check
It's
it out.
got no mention of Logan at all in it.
Yeah. I find the one thing I find really funny with the whole Last of Us thing is that when Last of Us came out, I remember like reading the forums and stuff about people complaining about, oh man, like this thing stole from the road, this thing stole from this. And everyone's pointing it out, and they're like, no, it's its own thing. You can't point out that. You can't point it out. 4 years later, everyone forgot about that, and now everyone's pointing out the Last of Us influence and everything else. And it's like, oh god.
Everything is influenced by everything at the end of the day, to be honest.
Yeah.
Exactly. That the thing about fiction and the thing about storytelling in any medium, everything's influenced by something else.
Exactly.
Every last thing.
I mean, there's a puzzle in Resident Evil 7. If you've played the game, I'm sure you know the puzzle I'm talking about. That could have been lifted directly out of a Saw movie.
Yeah.
So.
Oh crap! This is actually pretty cool.
So you're watching the thing, yeah. It is very cool,
Yes.
isn't it? Let's go. What people are saying about The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is one of the best films ever made, and I think if you talk to enough film critics, they'll all come back with that same opinion of how amazing it is. While some people may think it's because of Heath Ledger's unfortunate passing helped gain its stature, which may be true in terms of awards buzz. He did, of course, win the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. While it may have raised the profile, I don't think it diminished the fact that the movie's still stunning on every conceivable level.
Mm-hmm.
And Logan being compared to it, I think, is an honor for Logan. I don't think it's blasphemous to The Dark Knight.
I think that's a better way to look at it. I think the way you're putting it's a lot better than a lot of other people are. I think it's a credit to Logan if it's being compared to The Dark Knight, which it's like everyone, like some people believe Heath Ledger's death kind of amped it up more than what it maybe could. I thought it was a great movie. It's not like Fast. Was it Fast 6? Many people wouldn't have watched it if.
Now that is a case. I think let's not forget the fact that it was the sequel to a really successful Batman movie.
Yes.
It was already going to be really successful. Did it need more press? No, but it got it in an unfortunate way. Fast and Furious 7, it got that press and it elevated the movie a bit more with the montage at the end, and it made it gross over $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah, like that's the thing though about. I was reading through the comments real quick. Sword of Damocles again pointed out that Logan is actually based on source material, roughly, very roughly. I want to bring up the Old Man Logan storyline where they're kind of pulling this from. X-23 is not even in it. That storyline, basically all they're really pulling is that Logan's old. That's pretty much it. Old Man Logan, because of the deal with Fox and Disney and all this stuff going on with Marvel, they cannot do an Old Man Logan movie. I am not going into it looking at it that way. The main differences in the Old Man Logan storyline, again, I highly doubt any of these are spoilers, Basically, Logan kills all the X-Men in the comic, and basically he gets tricked by Mysterio, another Disney property that the Fox doesn't have access to. Tricked by Mysterio, kills a bunch of people. Basically helps the supervillains take over the United States. Like Red Skull owns the East Coast, Kingpin owns the Midwest, like random stuff like this. And Hulk owns California.
What?
And all the West. Yeah, Hulk owns. Yeah, Hulk apparently has relations with She-Hulk and has inbred Hulk hillbillies.
What the?
It's a weird story, man. it's a weird story. Like these are things that would not ever make it into a movie.
What the?
And the Hulk hillbillies go looking for rent collection money. They go to all little towns, and Logan's over on the West Coast. Hawkeye visits him with only one arm, and they say, "Hey, we have a way to take down Red Skull and upset the balance." Yada yada yada, and they go on this cross-country road trip to go take out Red Skull. That's it. See, it has nothing to do with this movie at all, and there's no way it could have anything to do with it. Other than even this movie, it's not even post-apocalyptic. It's not. It said
can we talk about the fact that the X-Men comics exist in this world.
Yeah, they exist.
That's weird. That's sort of awesome, but it's a bit weird.
I feel like they've done that before.
Have
I
they?
can't point out what it was though. Someone said like, "Oh, comics exist in this world."
Wait, so you're talking like are we talking like fourth wall break comics or
no?
I mean, there's
the actual comics. Everybody read like Chris Claremont's run and all that kind of stuff are real in the Logan universe. They just treat them like an exaggeration of what actually happened.
Yeah, there's a scene in one of the trailers, and he says, he's looking at one of the comic books and says, only a quarter of this happened, and not like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I sort of can't wait to hear Patrick Stewart just sort of swearing in the X-Men film.
Ooh,
because he swears in one of the trailers.
Patrick Stewart's getting better with age. That's the thing. Like he's just getting consistently better.
I was saying this to my parents a few days ago. It's weird that in Britain he's the legendary Sir Patrick Stewart, legend of the stage, whereas in America he's Captain Picard and Professor Xavier.
Yep. Whoever did that casting back in 2000, you're a genius. Like,
yeah, spot on.
Nailed it. Yeah, man. Just totally nailed it. Like, defined him for a generation. Same with Hugh Jackman. Like,
yeah, I think Hugh Jackman's a better casting than Thing is.
Yeah, that was more. Remember, Hugh Jackman had really no.
Yeah, he was a star of the stage as well. He was a musical theatre actor in Australia.
All of a sudden, gritty action star.
He made his name in London in a production of Oklahoma.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
Random thing that's really irking me, really pissing me off, actually.
Well, it's not surprising. Like the best comic actors, the best comic book actors, except Robert Downey Jr., were all London stage actors. Like if you go through the list, it's all of them. It's Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Hiddleston, maybe not Chris Evans,
Mark Ruffalo.
A very long stage career he's got.
Wow. Chris Hemsworth?
No, not Chris Hemsworth. Is he an actor or is he just good looking?
Who cares?
Wow.
Nah. But anyway, random thing, completely off topic. I'm really pissed off about these people talking about Bethesda for a minute. Everyone's talking about these. Everyone's acting like this is brand new. Bethesda confirms they're working on 3 new titles. Bethesda Studios working on 3 new titles. One of them going to be a mobile game. 2 of them going to be real. I feel like I've been saying this for months and nobody's listened.
Nope.
It's just now hitting the mainstream. I've been saying this since E3 and yet nobody listens.
Wait, what's
Here
going
we
on?
are. Brand new news. But
one of which I have a theory on.
oh God, here we go.
So, as usual, I always reserve the right to be wrong. Always. But in the case that I'm correct, I'll have to be considered a prophet and an insider going forward. So, as Anchorman like to put me on blast on Twitter, which I will pay him back at some way, shape, or form, I could not remember the guy's name from Bethesda that was inside the Project Scorpio video. It slipped my mind for whatever reason. I couldn't figure it out. So,
our Lord and Savior, Alpha Beta.
So what I did is, because it slipped my mind, I couldn't think of it. I texted who I thought was a valued friend in my life, who I knew was knowledgeable about these type of things. And what did this son of a gun do? Put me on, try to expose me on Twitter, which, like I said, I will pay him back. So Todd Howard, of course, we know was in the Project Scorpio trailer. And so we know Microsoft and Bethesda, they have a pretty good working relationship. I don't think that's any secret. And so with him being a Project Scorpio trailer, Project Scorpio being announced at E3, being moved to Sunday, which is the same day as Bethesda, I predict that one of those games will be an Xbox and or Windows 10 exclusive. Bank it. Put it in a bank, deposit it. That's happening. I could be wrong, but
the thing is, mate, I don't trust a word you say after everything you love dies.
See, the only reason I doubt that a little bit, it lines up like the whole Sunday switch and everything else, like where you're coming from. I 100% see it. I could see it being a possibility, but I do not think at any point in Bethesda's history they've done exclusive anything. It'd be a really different, I'm not saying bad, wrong, or indifferent, be a very different step for them if they actually made something exclusive. At the very least, it could be a timed exclusive, which maybe, but that's also being said, Todd Howard has had a very good working relationship with Phil Spencer and company for a while now, and a lot of the Bethesda stuff like Fallout 4 mods hit Xbox before PlayStation and were better supported and yada yada yada. So in theory, like, I 100% would be okay with your theory. I love it.
That's why I think, you know, it would be in any case it would be a XPA game just so they can have that PC presence. But I just think the writing's just on the wall right now, man. Like I said, I could be wrong. I could be reading into nothing. But I think a partnership with a company like Bethesda for a game that won't be on PlayStation, a third-party exclusive, whether it's, you know, third-party console exclusive, would be huge. A huge announcement you have launching a new console with a company like Bethesda making a game for you. Because with us hearing that Microsoft will have XPA games, they're going to have Xbox exclusives again. They're also going to have PC exclusives. They're going to have to garner a lot of third-party support because Microsoft does not have a bunch of first-party studios. It is what it is. So with that being the case, third-party support is going to be huge, trying to make all exclusive, all these different platforms. So with that being the case, why not go out to one of the biggest names, you know, in gaming in Bethesda?
Now,
I'm speaking of a. No, go ahead.
I'm not doubting you. I will say I think it's very far-fetched. Like, as the resident Bethesda guy here, I don't see Bethesda ever making an exclusive game for Microsoft or Sony or anybody else. But because you said it, there's probably going to be an exclusive PlayStation thing. It's going to be your fault too.
Not even a console exclusive.
Nope.
You know what? You know what's going to happen? It's just because Fame predicted this, it's going to be a new Fallout game, but it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. And then me and Anchor are going to have to drive to Texas and deal with Fame.
We'll pick up Mike on the way.
Exactly.
Come on.
I'll fly too.
But no, like
Canada, because you know we're not going to let you emigrate.
It is a bit of a stretch, but I think there are enough pieces to draw the conclusion. And I could be absolutely 100% wrong. But if I'm right, oh boy, everybody better reference me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be pissed."
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Bethesda, Prey's coming out soon, isn't it?
May 5th, I believe.
Pre-order,
which I did predict Prey. I predicted Prey was happening before
everyone
E3.
predicted Prey was happening.
No, Not before I did.
Oh God.
Sure.
Facts.
Sure. Why not?
When did you predict it? 2010. It's coming. It's coming. The end is nigh.
No, actually, no. I very remember before Prey was like being hugely talked about. I remember there being a writer's block episode where Fame said that Prey would be making a comeback, and we all laughed at him at the time.
You go back
I
and
vaguely
look,
remember there being
Go look at the old writer block episodes. It's in there. It's an E3 prediction video.
The only prediction video I remember doing, I think it was with you guys. I think it was them. It was an E3 prediction video, and then I predicted Kojima would come out and announce a game, and then I made an offhand comment that whatever Nintendo released would be amazing, and that this is months before the Switch announcement.
That's super vague, though.
No, I know it was. But I did say if they would come out with their own console, it would be amazing.
You got to be more specific than that. Like. That's the thing. Like, if you're gonna go for a prediction, you got to go bold. At least do like Fame's doing. At least go bold. Like,
it's like we say. You know what?
Everyone forgets about that.
I say, I predict PlayStation going to drop another console within the next 2 years, and it's going to be pretty powerful.
Right. I'm gonna make a crazy prediction right here, right now. Are y'all ready? Okay. Right. I'm gonna predict that within the first hour of gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2, either Joel or Ellie will die.
Ooh.
I like that.
Those are some spicy meatballs.
That's now on record on a website and another website called YouTube.
A reputable website at that.
The most reputable website.
Yes. Huge reputable.
There's no alternative facts here.
Oh God.
All right, Mike, you got any bold predictions before we move on?
I mean, my bold prediction for this year, this is actually something that I wrote about a month ago on the website, is I think Microsoft is going to announce Halo 6 at E3.
A teaser?
A teaser or something. I actually thought they were going to announce Halo 6 to release this year alongside Scorpio, to be honest. Because they're going to need that killer app AAA IP to go with, to show off the new hardware, and what better than Halo 6? And I think people are going to be excited for a new Halo, because at least to me the campaign in 5 was disappointing. So that would be my bold prediction.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember about Halo 5 was that they used a Muse song in one of the trailers, and I love Muse.
I have two, actually. 2 bold predictions. One's Bethesda, which I can
Here is a hashtag hot take.
I was gonna say, I swear to God, if you steal my Bethesda prediction, man.
I hope I don't, because this is pretty bold and spicy. Bethesda will announce and release this year a brand new AAA IP from Bethesda Studios.
Wait, brand new
IP, so I can't tell you what it is because I don't know. But the signs are pointing at Bethesda Studios dropping something this year, and then everything's pointing out the whole, they're working on 3 new games, yada yada yada. We don't care, but I think Bethesda has had a lot of success with Fallout 4. They finished all the DLC for it. Bethesda has traditionally been able to crank out a game in 2 to 3 years. It's entirely possible. Their devs team is big enough. They've split up workloads like this before, and it will come out before Elder Scrolls. And it, like whatever they announce is not Elder Scrolls 6. That's one prediction. It's not Elder Scrolls 6. It's a brand new AAA IP.
Elder Scrolls 6, they already said they're not even working on yet. Yep. They said that was another 2 years out. They said that at E3.
Yep. Which everyone's going to forget. So don't tell anybody that. That's me. Because apparently nobody was listening either. So, anyway. Other one, Shanghai is coming back. Not Bethesda. Microsoft, I get the feeling that remember that thing that Coalition showed off back in 2013? That little little gameplay snippet? Well, not gameplay,
yes, sir.
I guess. like the guy scaling that skyscraper with the gun and the grappling hook and the fireworks in the background.
Yes, sir.
It's called Shanghai, sort of. At least it was unofficially dubbed that. I think it's coming back. And
All right.
I think Coalition's making it. It may not come out this year, but it's getting announced. I've been hoping and praying that's coming out. That's my super hot and spicy prediction. That's me personally, though. Anyway, anyone else? Bold and spicy?
I'm going to take a really hot and spicy one, and if I'm wrong, I'm not going to be upset. If anyone wants to call me out for it, you're more than welcome for it. But I think the game that's going to hit, and just because of how successful the previous game in that specific series was, I think there's going to be a sequel to Fallout New Vegas teased. I'm not saying released, I'm saying teased, because Obsidian has been obscenely quiet for the past little while on what they're working on. And there's been little hints and rumors dropped, and there's been little things getting leaked out, and it should be interesting to see. And if it's anything like Fallout 4, we kind of knew it was going to happen at E3, but when they actually dropped it, it was huge. So my bold prediction is that you're going to see a Fallout New Vegas. I don't know what they're going to call it. I don't know if it's going to be a continuation.
It's got to be West Coast.
Yeah.
In order for it to be Fallout New Vegas 2, it has to be West Coast. It doesn't have to be New Vegas. If they do it, San Francisco, because they've been hinting at that pretty hard.
I was going to say, I've seen hints of New Orleans and San Francisco.
No,
either one of them.
Because the only reason they said New Orleans is because they were well, let's put it this way. Obsidian Works, they name all their projects after states. They do. So the Louisiana project was what was that other game that they make? I can't think what it's called. It's some like top-down RTS kind of weird game. I don't know. So I don't remember what it's called, but they're barely making that. That was the code name for that. That's why it came up. So
see, I was gonna say with Obsidian though, they also do a fair amount of legwork and everything else that Bethesda does. Because I remember there was an actual news leak before Fallout 4 was announced. I think it was like 8 months before. They found Bethesda developers. They were taking photos. They were in actually just 2 hours away from me in capital city of my good old province of Ontario. They were in Toronto, and they were taking photos, which was for rumored DLC purposes. Which a trek from Boston to my neck of the woods isn't that far. So I was really, really hopeful that was going to become a thing. It never did. But rumors are rumors. But my bold prediction is it's more of me hoping that there'll be another Fallout game.
I'm going to go for a bit of a lesser prediction. I think that there's going to be Hitman DLC where you have to set up PewDiePie to lose grace from the internet. Maybe something to do with Indians and Jews. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, all right.
We'll do that, and then the next thing they'll do is they'll use T. Martin's likeness in Counter-Strike Go.
Actually, it's actually funny if you bring up Hitman. It's that at E3 there's going to be a new season announced for that.
I've been talking with some journalism friends. There needs to be an E3 level in Hitman. It would be the best thing ever.
Oh, could you just imagine?
Yeah, you have to take out they have to take out the heads of every major studio except Ubisoft.
Yeah. All right. So, final topic for the evening. We'll kind of go through this. One of the things that kept coming up was, ever since Horizon Zero Dawn came up, this is more of an address to the gaming community as a whole. This happens every time. This happens every year. This is the cycle as per Anchorman. E3 starts. Everybody gets excited. Xbox guys get excited what's coming out holiday of that year. They're happy all the way from June through December. And then everything stops, and then Sony picks up, and everybody from Sony is happy from January, February, March, April, May, and then June, and then it stops. And then it continues on this constant cycle of, oh, I only consider 6 months out of the year to be worth my time. So, I mean, this is pretty typical stuff. I mean, this is not anything new. But every single time that a game comes out that is good, or actually, let's start with bad. When a game is bad and it's exclusive, the other side makes fun of it, makes fun of everybody for playing it, and then the side which it came out on defends it and says how great it is. For example, Fame and Recore. Recore comes out, it's not that good. All the PlayStation guys point and laugh at it. All the Fame only defends it, says it's the best game ever. And same thing happens when what was the?
Wait,
what was
I didn't say it was the best game ever.
86.
I said it was a good game.
Keep believing that. More power to you. But
and there was No Man's Sky last year.
When the Order 1886 came out, it was like it got bad reviews. Xbox guys made fun of it. PlayStation guys defended it. Same old, same old. Nothing new.
I will say, as a PlayStation fan, the one thing we refuse to defend is No Man's Sky.
In NAC.
And I think you'll find NAC is successful enough to have a sequel, so who's the joke really on?
Actually, I have interacted with PlayStation fans that have defended No Man's Sky, believe it or not.
Wow.
Let me tell you, I was actually going through, I was deleting videos I had saved to my hard drive, and there was a video I never released, and it was defending Sean Murray and No Man's Sky when the first Metacritic's reviews came out about how everyone needs to give a game a chance before you jump in and judge it. I'm really, really, really glad I never uploaded that video.
I do think there is a disparity between the types of games, at least the massively marketed ones that Xbox release and PlayStation release. This may seem biased as I don't own an Xbox One, but let's remember that I did own an Xbox 360, and I'm very proud of that. The type of games that PlayStation release seem to be critical darlings, very story heavy. There are exceptions, of course, and Xbox did release Rise of the Tomb Raider and Gears of War. But do you get what I mean?
Yeah. I really agree with you on that, where Sony lately has basically had this mandate of we need to release heavy story games, heavy focus on emotion, do all that kind of stuff, and sometimes at the detriment of gameplay. Very rarely, unless if it's Naughty Dog and maybe even now Guerrilla, like gameplay does not suffer. But I mean, they are focusing a lot more on getting that critical praise.
And I think and it's also because they don't need to worry about stuff like this because they've sold 50 million consoles.
Yeah.
They know that the third-party stuff will be played on the PlayStation 4, so they can focus their efforts in making games like this. They're in the exact same situation that Xbox were last generation.
You know, and I think a lot of it comes from another part of this argument is the viewpoint that Sony seems to do more for fans of PlayStation than Microsoft seems to do for fans of Xbox. And this is something that Wood was talking about earlier on Twitter. So even something like PlayStation fans have been dying for a new God of War. They're getting God of War. PlayStation fans have been wanting a new Gran Turismo game. Supposedly Gran Turismo Sports coming out this year. And things like that, whereas we really haven't seen that type of commitment from Microsoft. Like, I know personally, I would love to play an updated version of Crimson Skies on Xbox One, or even something like Fusion Frenzy would be really fun. But it's something like that, I think, factors into the conversation too.
Yeah, and case in point, the fact that PlayStation Experience exists,
right,
and there's no equivalent for Xbox. That's insane.
Yeah. And I think Microsoft's also the same crossroads where Sony was last generation, where Microsoft But like, let's not forget the first few years on PlayStation 3 were kind of sparse. There wasn't a lot going on, but towards the end, it really picked up.
Yeah,
It really got
let's not
moving.
forget the PlayStation 3 is the console that gave us Flower and the Uncharted series, and The Last of Us, Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain. The PlayStation 3 did have those massive heavy hitters, and the Xbox One, apart from Rise of the Tomb Raider and Gears of War, I can't think of any massive heavy hitters off the top of my head like that.
The biggest problem that Microsoft is facing right at this moment is they came in off the Xbox 360. They were like the hot thing at the time. PlayStation PS3 had caught up by the end of that generation.
And probably taken over by the end.
Yeah, I think it was just before the launch. PS3 had caught up and gone over. I'm not really good on sales numbers on last gen. I really didn't care back in that generation. I just played games. It was a wonderful thing. But when PS3 was at the bottom, Sony started making those first-party deals with studios and getting a lot of those in their pocket. Because in order to win people over, you have to have games. PS3 had more power than Xbox 360 too. A lot of games ran better on PS3, but that wasn't the big appeal. They all got stonewalled at the beginning launch of the PS3 and the price of the PS3 at the start. So they started making deals. The PS4 launch, like the Xbox One, the initial launch games were meh, but Sony had a plan for the next couple of years. Xbox came out with the Xbox One, and they had DOM Matrix system in place when they went to release this console, and that completely backfired on them. So
television,
Right.
sports, Halo movie, television.
Yep.
That was the Xbox One launch.
Yeah, so
the greatest monument to hubris we've ever seen.
Yeah, Matrix gone. His deals are still in effect for the next 3 years. I think it was like 3 or 4 years of predetermined games that he had invested money into. Phil Spencer takes over. Enjoy the ride. This is what you've got. And to be brutally honest, I'm not surprised that Xbox has fallen behind as far as it has. It pretty much deserves to. They don't really have any. They've got so many first-party studios that they cuckold and stuck in a corner. Like Rare is like Sea of Thieves they're making. It might be good, might not be. But Rare has such a repertoire of games that they have that they could pull from. You've got 343 is an amazing studio, but they're stuck making Halo games. The Coalition could be making fantastic games, but they're stuck in the Gears of War. What they need to do is they need to start cycling these and start pumping the money into it so these companies start playing at 2 games or so that there's more diversity. Because like I feel like the Xbox One, and anyone who follows me on Twitter knows I'm an Xbox guy, but I feel like the Xbox One is the sequel box one because literally any of the original games that have come out have been mediocre at best. I can't beat ReCore. I can't even sit through the game. I got 3 hours into the game, turned it off, can't finish it. Quantum Break, played it, finished it, wasn't a bad game, didn't blow my mind by any stretch of the imagination. But you start looking at the comparison, Sony's willing to take risks because they've sold more consoles, obviously. But these plans for these games were before they sold all these consoles. These games were in development when they first launched, if you think about it. So they were taking these risks before they were in the space. So the next couple of years of game releases like God of War, Detroit, these are games they've decided to invest in now. So these are games that are going to be huge and they've got a lot of faith in. And Sony's been really good at pumping out story-based games because what, as a whole industry, is everyone tired of? They're tired of multiplayer shooters. People want these enhanced single-player experiences and everything else. So Sony's giving them single-player experiences. Microsoft's very much stuck in 2011 still, and they need to bring it to the future if they want to entice people to buy an Xbox One.
And then there's the fact that modern gaming is focused on VR, and there is no VR headset for the Xbox One.
I don't know. I still think it's way too early to say the future's on VR. I
didn't say the future's VR, but I say right now there's a massive focus on VR, and PlayStation has an install base. It's
don't even agree with you on that,
but it's there.
I want you to
like
one AAA VR game coming out
Resident
now.
Evil.
Yeah, but
An actual game
my
developed for VR.
but my point is that it exists and it is
Yeah.
available with loads of games.
Lots of things exist. There's a pig human that exists.
Yeah, but there's no. It's just a thing. You can get VR on PC and PlayStation 4, but you can't get it on Xbox One. It's just something
You know
that
what?
probably doesn't have.
See, the thing that I'm sitting at right now, where I sit with the whole VR thing, is where I live as a country whole. I have quite a few people, and you can talk to Kofi about this because both of us are Canadian. No one in their right mind in our country is picking up PSVR because it's $700 for PSVR for the whole kit. Nobody is grabbing that. It's completely missed the mark on what people think the market's going to be. And to be brutally honest, no, like Sony's not releasing numbers on it because it's an accessory. It's not an actual thing. It'd be like them releasing sales numbers on Move controllers back on PS3. It's an accessory. It doesn't need to have sales numbers behind it. But what I really want to know is, like, besides a few of the really hardcore PlayStation guys I know, who owns these things and who uses these on a somewhat regular basis? Because from what we've seen so far, PSVR is a really good Resident Evil experience, and Riggs, which was probably one of the best looking VR games I saw, and that studio that developed it is closed.
I didn't mean for this to turn into a VR discussion. I just wanted to point out.
Look what you started.
I put my dad in a VR headset over the weekend, and he
let him out.
loved
Let
it.
him out.
And he's what?
You see, you put him in a VR headset.
What and what?
Actually, I think it would be terrifying. Imagine if somebody strapped a VR headset to your face and left you in a closet for a week, and you can't take off the headset. That's like a horror movie right there. Like you can't keep your eyes closed that long for a whole week. Like actually, someone go make a movie right now. This would be pretty good. I'd watch this. Like someone puts somebody in a house, like locks a VR headset to their face, and just constantly blares like horror things in front of them, like I don't know, like torture porn.
Did you forget the episode of Black Mirror where literally that happened?
Which episode?
Playtest.
Yeah, but it was a little different than that. It wasn't an actual like headset. I mean, I don't know. I think part of the fear would be actually having a VR headset. Although that would work out pretty good too. But I was thinking more like somebody in a house, but you have a completely different environment for them. I was actually talking to somebody else. They were saying like they let their grandmother play around with the VR headset, and she totally forgot where she was. And when she actually made a wrong step and fell off a castle wall in the VR headset, and she actually fell. Her body faked it. Like she believed she was there.
Yeah, man, VR's awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we should wrap this up. Fame had to dip because his daughter, but we're gonna wrap this up real quick. Let's do our outros. Let's start with Nick.
Why
not?
Why not? I'm 100% with that. I'm Undead 3XVI on Twitter, Instagram, anything, any form of social media. You can find me on it. You can find me live, talk, compare gamer scores. You can beat my ass in video games. I really don't care. That's all for me.
All right, James.
Yeah, Twitter at James_S Wilson. I've never given out my PSN on here. I'll give it out today. WilsonTron96. Because I'm that cool. Come play Overwatch with me. My mains are Tracer, Zenyatta, and Mercy. I also love Radiohead.
Wait, Zenyatta? My man.
Yeah. I love Zenyatta.
All right. And we got Mike.
All right, guys. Mike, thank you for having me on the show once again. Check me out on the Inner Circle at ticgn.com. Also on Twitter and Xbox at Mike P. The Truth. And it was a great show. Thank you all for tuning in.
Oh, we also had Fame.
Everything he loves dies. All right. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Episode 43 of the Multiverse Show, the greatest show on Mondays. And we can say that because we're the only show nowadays. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys for showing up. It's been a blast. I love talking with you guys. Actually, a really popular show, oddly enough. We've been getting pretty high up there in the live viewer count. Anyway, guys, thanks for checking it out. We'll be putting this up on everything else, SoundCloud or whatever. Should be dope. And we'll see you guys later.
Wait, before we go, I have one thing to ask you guys. How do you know that Mercy is a natural blonde?
I don't.
How?
What?
Because heroes never die.
Ah.
That's a pretty good last joke. Oh, God. What do we do without you?